Will you never be happy? Do you feel like you're always chasing something? But when you finally get it, you realize it wasn't enough? Pleasure fades fast. Boredom kicks in even faster. The chase never ends. But what if everything you believe about happiness is just an illusion? What if the truth is way darker than you ever imagined? Schopenhauer cracked this mystery, and what he discovered might change the way you see life forever. Stick around till the end. You'll never look at reality the same way again. You believe happiness is just around the corner, waiting to be claimed. A raise, a new relationship, recognition. But every time you get what you want, you realize the relief is fleeting. Pleasure evaporates quickly, only to be replaced by a new desire, and the chase begins again. Schopenhauer saw this trap as an endless cycle. Man runs after pleasure, believing it to be the peak of existence, only to find a brief truce before emptiness takes over again. The human mind is insatiable. It craves, suffers in its absence, and once it finally possesses, it grows bored. This perpetual motion keeps us trapped in a state of constant dissatisfaction. Desire doesn't bring fulfillment, only a short break before the next frustration. To Schopenhauer, this was the great irony of existence. We chase happiness as if it were a final destination, but in reality, it's nothing more than a mirage that vanishes the moment we get close. The problem isn't desire itself, but the illusion that it can ever be permanently satisfied. Schopenhauer saw life as a cruel game. We're led to believe that true happiness exists, but the moment we try to grasp it, it slips right through our fingers. This forces us to ask, are we truly living, or just surviving between brief moments of pleasure and long stretches of frustration? To Schopenhauer, life swings between two inevitable extremes, suffering and boredom. When we lack what we desire, we suffer. When we finally get it, the pleasure fades quickly, and soon, boredom takes over. This cycle repeats endlessly, like a pendulum that never stops swinging. The relentless search for something to ease this state keeps us trapped in a game we can never win. The more we try to escape, the deeper we sink into this emotional trap, because the mind will always find a new dissatisfaction to feed on. Suffering is the natural state of existence, the pain of scarcity, loss, and the daily struggle to achieve something. And boredom arises precisely when those battles end, when success becomes routine and loses its shine. Humans are condemned to live between these two opposing forces, unable to find lasting balance. Even those who accumulate wealth and power aren't immune to this dynamic. Sooner or later, they realize that no possession or status can truly satisfy a restless mind. This endless mismatch between desire and fulfillment turns us into prisoners of an infinite pursuit, always longing for something beyond what we already have. Schopenhauer's answer to this dilemma isn't to chase after an illusion of happiness, but to understand the true nature of life. By accepting that suffering and boredom are part of existence, we can free ourselves from the obsession of trying to escape them. Instead of running from the cycle, he suggests aesthetic contemplation, art, and philosophical thought as ways to ease the weight of this perpetual oscillation. When we shift our focus to something beyond immediate desire, like the beauty of music, the depth of literature, or philosophical reflection, we can momentarily transcend the prison of the pendulum. This temporary elevation of consciousness offers a breath of relief within existence, allowing us to see life with greater clarity and less suffering. The idea that life cares about our desires and aspirations is a comforting illusion, but Schopenhauer warns us, the universe has no intention of making us happy. Existence is indifferent, impersonal, governed by natural forces that operate without any regard for human suffering. Expecting life to be fair or rewarding only amplifies our frustration when we inevitably face its unpredictability. This confrontation with reality may seem bleak at first, but it can also be liberating, freeing us from the chains of unrealistic expectations and allowing for a more objective and pragmatic view of existence. Nature neither rewards nor punishes, it simply is. Events unfold without a grand purpose, and projecting absolute meaning onto them can be one of our greatest sources of suffering. The more we demand from life, the more it disappoints us. Accepting this indifference doesn't mean resignation. It's an invitation to live without illusions, to see reality as it is rather than as we wish it to be. True balance emerges when we stop fighting against what cannot be changed and start acting within the realm of what is possible. Understanding this dynamic helps us detach from false promises of ultimate happiness, leading to a more mature way of engaging with life. Schopenhauer suggests that by letting go of the expectation that life owes us something, we can discover a new kind of freedom. True wisdom isn't about resisting the indifferent nature of existence, but about learning to navigate it without resistance, cultivating a clearer, more detached perspective on the world and our own experiences. In doing so, we can live more consciously, unshackled from illusions that keep us trapped in constant dissatisfaction. If life is an endless cycle of desire, boredom, and suffering, how do we break free? Schopenhauer believed that the only escape was to minimize the impulses that keep us trapped in this pattern. For him, renouncing desire was the key to a more bearable existence. This doesn't mean rejecting life entirely, but rather learning to tame the constant need for more, reducing the impact of frustration. By loosening the grip of desire over us, we can lessen the suffering caused by unrealistic expectations and find greater contentment in simplicity. One of the alternatives Schopenhauer proposed was aesthetic contemplation. Art, music, and philosophy offer a temporary escape from the world of desire and suffering. When we're immersed in the beauty of a symphony or the depth of a philosophical thought, we experience a brief relief from the endless chase. This state of contemplation allows us to see reality differently, without the distorted lens of expectation and longing. Beyond that, compassion emerges as a way to transcend the inherent selfishness of human desire. By recognizing the suffering of others and developing empathy, we find a purpose that goes beyond the pursuit of personal pleasure. For Schopenhauer, true liberation lies in letting go of the illusion of happiness and finding meaning in acceptance, deep thought, and connection with something greater than ourselves. Now let me ask you this. After everything we've explored, how do you feel about your pursuit of happiness? Are you chasing something unattainable, or is there meaning to be found on a different path? Schopenhauer shows us that life was never designed to satisfy us, but that doesn't mean we can't take something valuable from it. What makes sense to you? Contemplation, detachment, reflection? Or maybe simply accepting that not everything needs a purpose to be worth living? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how this philosophy resonates with your life. If this video gave you something new to think about, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And if you can, share it with someone who might also need to reflect on this journey. Thank you for being here and taking the time to engage with this content. See you in the next one.